This is your Seattle Weekly Market Watch for the real estate market. Hey there, it's Brendan Klaus. I'm your favorite Seattle area realtor, and we're back again another week with a look at what's going on in the market in this week's episode of the Market Watch. Today, it's Thursday, February 27th, and we're going to dive into exactly what the numbers are telling us today. So let's start off with the mortgage interest rate. Today, we are seeing a slight increase over yesterday, but overall, since last week, we've seen a downward trend, which is really exciting news for buyers and for sellers. We see the 30-year fixed today is at 6.79%. The 15-year fixed is at 6.25%, and 30-year FHA and VA are at 6.15 and 6.17 respectively. Now, this is down from last week. We've seen a major drop just in the past few days. If you've been following along, the mortgage interest rate has been just around 7%, slightly higher, hovering a little bit higher. And when those rates come down, it means that buyers can afford more. So for buyers, this is exciting because you can actually get into a house that may be bigger or a slightly higher amount on the purchase price for the same amount of monthly payment. For sellers in the market right now, this is exciting because it most likely will bring out more buyers into the market. And when we have homes listed on the market, what we need is buyers to come and purchase those homes. So buyers can afford more home for the same monthly payment, and sellers can be happy that we see a little bit more buyer activity and hopefully a few more buyers out in the market with this new news. Okay, in addition to interest rates, let's talk about a little bit of a story, which I always like to tell a bit of a story about what's going on in the field based on our team's experience. It feels like the spring market is truly here. Just this week, we had 5 different homes go under contract. One of those was a listing that our team had, and then 4 of those were buyers that went under contract. So that is making it feel like spring is definitely still here. Now, not all of those offers were full price, and some of them were full price but negotiated a seller credit so that the buyer could still buy down the rate on the home. So if you haven't heard of seller credit before, this is a really awesome negotiation tool that we use often in this market, where if you're purchasing, the seller can actually contribute some money towards you being able to buy down that interest rate on your loan so that you have a lower monthly payment for a set number of years or for the life of your loan. So it's a really great and awesome tool. And this really just goes to show that the market is picking up. If you followed along, I definitely feel that the market definitely picks up after the beginning of the new year, but it feels like right now we're really getting into the thick of it. There's a lot of variation based on where you're shopping and what's going on, but overall it feels like the market in general is picking up. Homes that have been sitting for maybe a month, 2 months are now getting buyers, multiple buyers, who are coming in and making offers, which is good news for those sellers who've been sitting on the market. For buyers, you do need to be aware that there could be competition in this marketplace. So let's talk about the stats over the past 7 days. So for condos over the past 7 days in Seattle, we've seen 23 fewer condos listed. So 147 new listings came on the market. That's down from last week when we saw 170 new listings. For the number of condos going under contract or pending, it's up 33. So we saw 216 condos go under contract in the past 7 days, up from 183 last week. Now, this is good news because the number of condos under contract is exceeding the number of new condos that are being listed, which means that there is some demand in the marketplace. And if you've followed along for any amount of time, you know that demand in the condo market has been slow since the pandemic. The number of sold condos was up 23 from last week at 131. That's up from 108 last week. Now let's talk about what's going on in the residential sector of the market. The number of new listings is down 15 this week from the past week at 286 new residential listings, down from 301 last week. This is a bit odd because right now in the spring, we're typically seeing more homes get listed. And so we probably will see this number pick up as we get into March and especially April. The number of pending listings though was up by 69 at 483. That's up from 414 last week. So again, demand at 483, demand is the best way to gauge the buyer demand because that's what's going under contract, is up and almost, well, not quite double, but quite a bit higher than the number of new listings. So there is a lot of demand in the residential single family sector of the market. That's important for buyers to know because it does mean you're more than likely going to be competing on a home that you make an offer on. The number of sold listings is up 2 from last week at 288 over 286 last week. So what does this all mean for buyers and sellers? For buyers, we are entering a phase in the market where you may be having competition on the homes that you want to put offers in on. Especially as the interest rate comes down, you will see even more competition because more buyers will enter the market. Sellers, what this means for you is while there may be more buyers, you still need to price your home and present it as perfectly as possible because that is what's going to attract the most feet in the door, and that means a higher offer for you. So think about that as you're getting ready. And if you're like other people that we've helped throughout this process and you're seeing this video on YouTube, be sure to reach out and start with a free strategy call with us and our team. We'll go through the strategy that you may find most useful if you're selling your home or if you're planning to buy. And if you're thinking about making that move in the next 6 to 12 months or sooner, now is the best time to reach out and start that conversation. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you found this helpful, and we'll see you again next week.